Hey there YouTube, Sup up here, and I'm bringing you another Rome Total War online commentary battle. This is a Dacia versus Macedon battle. I am in command of the Dacians right here. And my opponent, Alexander of Macedon, is in command of the Macedonians. So true to his name, he decided to choose Macedon for this fight. And this battle is really fresh in my head because I just played this a couple of seconds ago. So let's take a look at each of our armies. Alright, let's take a look at my army first. My army consists of 2 sets of these Archer Warband. These guys have, I believe it's an attack upgrade. Yeah, 1 attack upgrade on each, so bronze attack on each. Next up, I have 6 sets of these Chosen Swordsmen, and they are all gold. All except for my general, who is gold, and 2 experience chevrons. Because the reason I did that is because when you're playing as a barbarian faction, you cannot afford to have your general die. They are very valuable. Next up, I have 2 sets of these spear warband units right here. You can see them being pelted by arrows right now. Behind them, I have 4 sets of these Falksmen. So these guys, the initial plan was to use these guys to shred the enemy cavalry. Basically, I was going to use my cavalry to hold them and send in my Falksmen to continue to harass and kill them. So I spread them out equally, 2 over here and 2 over here. Alright, and lastly, I have 2 sets of these barbarian noble cavalry, and one of them is hidden in the forest right over here. These guys are hidden from my enemy, so he cannot see them right now. Now let's take a look at my opponent's army. My opponent's army consists of 6 sets, 6 sets of Royal Pikemen, right here. They do not have any upgrades. Then 6 sets of Phalanx Pikemen, and they have no upgrades. So he went with a very large numerical superior army. In theory, that could be a good thing, but sometimes you need the upgrades in order to have your army function well. So basically, I cannot take these spears head on. It would be a difficult enough fight if I even took them from the flank, because, you know, barbarian troops, if you get them on the flank, they're actually pretty decent, but otherwise, they're gonna get shredded. So, I'm basically maneuvering my Falksmen and Warband and Chosen Swordsmen to the flanks, trying to get my opponent off guard, kind of keep him wary. Here my opponent makes a micro mistake and his general is led right into my Chosen Swordsman. A very bad decision, because this is where his general is going to die right here. I do not believe he dies from my Chosen Swordsman though. I believe he's going to run away, and my barbarian noble cavalry is going to catch him here. And yeah, down he goes. There was no hope for him in that situation. So over on his left flank, opposite my right, I have moved up my 3 sets of Chosen Swordsmen, and here he decides to do a bonsai charge with his Macedonian cavalry. And I did not mention these guys yet. I believe he had about 4 sets. Forgot to mention these guys. And he also has 4 sets of these archers. But these guys really never played a part in the battle, which is kind of surprising. I mean, he tried shooting into my men a bit, but it didn't really seem to be doing that much damage. Which is kind of odd, considering when I play as barbarian factions, I typically always have the problem with arrows. So here I activated Warcry, and I'm charging right into the flanks of these Phalanx Pikemen. And because I'm basically really comfortable with attacking the Phalanx Pikemen, the Phalanx Pikemen just get shredded, as you can see, and they're gonna rout before they can even turn their pikes. And but when I see that he's sending in more reserves and he's trying to surround me, I'm gonna bug out of there. You cannot just sit there with your units. Using a barbarian faction really requires a lot of micro, and mine sometimes slips up a little bit, like right here. But I eventually fix it up, and I'm gonna run away, and I basically get no casualties from this, except, well, this one guy right here. But other than that, not much. Basically, I'm trying to scare my opponent, and you can see that it's actually working. I am luring his units away, and I'm isolating them. So here I'm going to gather around this unit, and I'm going to prepare to end this unit quickly here. And I'm still not noticing this area, but it really didn't matter considering that it never really hurt me much. So he is basically sending me his units piecemeal, so I'm just eliminating them very quickly. You can see that this unit has already broken, and they're routing. And when I see that he's sending in another Royal Pike unit, I'm just going to bug out of there again. So this is the tactic you have to use when you're using a Barbarian faction. Something else I should point out, my opponent was newer to online. He did have this game, he said, from about when it came out. And I actually had I had a nice talk with him, because he was a really good player. So yeah, basically I am not noticing this again because I'm focusing on other areas of the field, such as over here and stuff. It really requires a lot of micro to use these Barbarian factions, but you can see that I quickly noticed my problem, and I'm just going to bug out of there. I lose a couple of men, but nothing too major. Here I see an opening. I'm going to surround this unit of Royal Pikemen, and that'll be enough to end that. I'm also taking out my hidden Barbarian Noble Cavalry, and I'm going to basically swing around the flanks here, and I'm going to start hammering these guys in the back. Again, he is, again, just chasing after my Falxman, which I'm kind of enjoying, considering he's never going to be able to catch them, really. It's not even, it's not possible for him, really. I'm just keep scooting away. And, I mean, he does catch them, but it rarely does any damage, because I'm just going to bug out of there again. Right there, you can see. And what I have decided to do, here was another little lapse in my micro. I didn't notice these guys, and this unit got routed. But I've just bugged out of there with these two units, and they took no damage from that little brawl over here. And I'm going to retreat back over on top of this little hill here. And he is again going to give chase with his Royal Pikes. And to be honest, I think it would have actually been smarter for him to take off phalanx and charge at me, and then put down phalanx when he reached me. It would have been much smarter, but happens. Alright, so over here, I'm once again engaging these Royal Pikemen. And in this fight, he's actually having an advantage until I charge in my Barbarian Noble Cav, which is just going to basically immediately rout them. There, they routed. Let's see. So here was a huge lapse in my micro. Here I lost 2 units of these Warband units in a very pathetic manner. And these were my 2 Warband units. They were the only 2 I had, but I basically wasn't really counting on the Warband. I was mainly relying on my my swordsman, my chosen swordsman. But basically what happened, my men were chasing after some routing units, didn't notice in time, and they ran right into this phalanx wall. And that's what I'm talking about. You can't just take these phalanx troops head on. Basically, you don't want to do it with anyone, but especially not Barbarian units. And over here, once again, I have successfully fended off these Royal Pikemen. And my general actually lived throughout this whole fight, which is a great thing, because you never want to lose a Barbarian general. I know I said it earlier, but you never do. It's the main thing when you're using a Barbarian faction. You gotta protect your general. Here he splits up his 2 units of Royal Pikemen, and I have isolated this one, and I'm cutting them up with my Falxman. And this is actually really effective, considering they have these long, jagged sabers. I'm not quite sure what to call them, so yeah. Here he does have some success, though, because I only had 1 unit, and this Royal Pike quickly attacked and killed them. And that's once again why I said you can't attack from the front, otherwise it's pointless. But what I do in this case, I'm going to swing around my Barbarian Noble Cavalry, and I'm going to launch another attack on these guys' back. And I'm hoping for a quick rout, because there is another unit coming in. Over here, he is doing the same thing once again, and he is going to walk up right into 2 sets of my chosen swordsmen. I'm just going to quickly do a surrounding maneuver, and that's basically going to be the end of that. There's really not much to just isolating his units. Over here, I am able to perform a hammer and anvil strike on his Royal Pikes, and basically it's kind of going to be a simple matter for me now, because now even if I can attack from the front, he just has too few troops left, and their morale is already wavering. There's just not much he can really do. Also, if you guys noticed, I'm fairly confident you have, I am playing on a different map than I usually do. You typically see me on good old grassy flatlands. I decided to change it up a bit. This is, I believe, Italian flatlands, or Italian grasslands. So, yeah. You can see there's these little patches of trees, and that is why I was able to hide my Barbarian Noble Cav over here. So basically what I've decided to do at this point is I see that he is going to assemble his line, so I take the opportunity to assemble my line. And I still have a good number of troops left. You can see that these two units are still fairly full. Got 37 and then 27. There's 41 men a unit, I do believe, so they're still pretty full. Then I also got plenty of Folksmen. I brought 4 sets of these guys. And they weren't even really used much on this cavalry, but they were extremely effective against this infantry anyway. You can see their morale is impetuous, so they are not afraid of anything right now. So at the end here, what he decides to do is form the best defense he can with the few remaining troops he has, and he's going to form this little square shape. But at this point, as I said, it doesn't even matter because I just have so many troops. So all I have to do now is I've decided to turn my archers over here, and I'm going to fire at the backs of these guys. And that's the key thing. Just don't waste your arrows on the front of these pike units. You just want to, if anyone forms a square like this, use your archers. And you can just rain down hell on the units who have their backs turned to you. And that's the main thing you want to do. It's a very, very deadly combination. So I've basically decided to set my opponent a little bit uneasy, and I've surrounded him with all of my units here. I have my Folksmen over here, then my Chosen Swordsmen. And basically what I decided to do first is see if his units are on guard mode or not. If they're not on guard mode, they'll move forward. And they are not on guard mode, so they're just going to sit there, and my archers here are just going to bite it. And those archers were purely for the test, so that is a unit that gave its life for the good of the battle, I suppose. I didn't even really need to know it. I just didn't care about them at all. So at this point, I decided to launch my attack from all sides. I'm going to start off by attacking these exposed sides of the Royal Pikemen, and my men are going to excel in this type of a fight. And I'm just destroying these guys. I'm also doing the same thing over here. And I am quickly moving in on all these sides that are slightly open. I'm going to bust right into this square. Here you can see my Folksmen getting into some of the action. Let's see who wins this little duel here between these two. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to finish. Looks like there's going to be some interference. So yeah, you can see that my Folksmen are easily making short work here. And by this point, I have broken his back unit, and that was the one that was being shot in the back by arrows earlier. And now a chain rout starts to happen, and pretty soon here my opponent's just going to admit defeat, seeing that all he has left are his archery units way in the back. And I'm glad he really didn't make me chase him down with my remaining cavalry. I mean, I did still have cavalry, so it wouldn't have been a problem. But yeah, there you can see he just admitted defeat. Very, very, very good game to my opponent. I do not often use a barbarian faction like this. Dacia, I was quite surprised that I pulled out the victory here, but it was a clear victory nonetheless. I deployed 667 units, got 837 kills, and had 347 men remaining. My opponent, Alexander of Macedon, deployed 980 men, and again, that was because he put no upgrades on his units, so he had a very numerical superior army. Got 369 kills, and had 133 men remaining. So once again, very good game to my opponent. Let's take a look at the unit statistics here. I never really look at these. I never really show you guys these. I always look at them, but I don't really show them to you. Let's see. We got who delivered the most damage here. Looks like one of my Barbarian Noble Cavalry units got the most kills. That was this one right down here. Yeah, that's probably from the constant hammer and anviling that I did, and I kind of figured this. The other Barbarian Noble Cavalry got close to no kills. They got 35 kills, which is really nothing considering the mere fact that they died almost right in the beginning. They were kind of a sacrificing tool. I sent them after their archers, and they ended up getting slaughtered. But once again, very good game to my opponent, and I hope you guys enjoyed the video. See ya.